We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom not here this week. I am here. I'm Chris Carter here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. Any deadline emergency news to get to?
No.
I saw more recalls. I think we talked about this last week. I think it's just that we all see all the recalls now because they're just in the news and you get news from different places now.
Yeah, if they need fillers when the news is
Yeah.
the cycle's slow or they've repeated the same thing 100 times, and they're like, well, let's throw some stuff in there to throw them off.
Subscribe to automotive stuff in your news feed. You see it all, and it just seems like there's a lot of it. So let's get to the calls. 866-594-4150. Let's start in Minnesota with Jason. You're on the End of the Hood show. Jason, what can we do for you?
Well, first, I'm very happy to be able to get through to you. It's been a few Thursdays I've been trying to get off work, but I've got a 2018 Jeep Rubicon, and in the past, the odometer, sometimes when I get in it, it'll just read 9,909, all nines, all the way across. It disappears after a few miles, so I really kind of gave up on dealing with it. However, new and exciting, the last week, for the first time, my on the dash side of it, I have no direction indicator. It doesn't show any miles whatsoever. And my main screen pretty much just shuts off and then starts trying to turn back and on a few times. So I'm just confused if all this is tied together or what might be happening.
Well, it's either losing communication, so it can't get the signal it needs to display what it needs, which is that's a pretty common thing to give either dashes or nines on there when it can't read information from its body control module. That screen will do the same thing. It'll shut off or just give you a white screen or some lines on there. And that can be caused by either a wiring issue with the communication network, or it could be caused by a failure in the body control module of the vehicle. Those are the common things, but it could also be caused by one of those modules being shorted, interrupting the communication. So if you have anything on that CAN bus network, that control area network, that's shorted, it'll shut the whole thing down. It's like if you take your home computer and you've got, let's say you got 5 of them all plugged into your home router, but they're plugged in with cables instead of Wi-Fi. Cars should all have Wi-Fi, right?
Right.
If you take one of those cables from any one of the computers and you short it, stick a pin through the cable, you're going to interrupt that network, and it can affect the other computers on the network too. So the same thing happens in the car. So what they need to do to diagnose is look for any codes, see if there's any communication errors in there, and then start fixing those. A lot of times we will scan a system, and we'll do a complete scan where it's looking for every module. And if I see that there's only 5 modules on the line and there's supposed to be 6, I look for the one that's missing.
Sure.
And if it's like a seat module that's missing or an airbag module or something like that, if I see it's missing, I know that that's the one that's probably causing this short if it's operating. So if I know the seat works, but it doesn't talk to the rest of the computers, that's the module that's shorted. So I'll start with unplugging that and see if the other ones are working now. And if they are, then I go for replacing that module. So it takes a little bit of time to diagnose it, but that's what they need to do to find out what's going on. I don't think it's going to fix itself like your instrument cluster did some weird stuff for a while. But being that was the first and only thing that happened for a while, it may be that is the culprit that's causing the rest of the items. It's starting to go.
Okay, because I know there was a TSB out on the about reading all nines and having it go away, but everything I read on it didn't indicate that anything else would occur, and so that's why I kind of just live with it. It doesn't happen all the time. Maybe only once or twice a week.
Maybe it didn't occur then yet, and now they're going to go, well, Jason's got issues with it too, so we're going to send out a new TSB.
There you go.
Okay. We'll get in.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks very much for the call. Good luck. I've noticed that mine connects, and when every once in a while, it's a little spotty. The screen won't come on, and I've talked to talked to the dealer about it, and he goes, the guy
They
said,
do
they once in a while, yeah, it'll just happen. He goes, I drive that exact same car. It happens a couple times a year. And it'll come back on, but it will, when I connect, if I'm not in the perfect spot, it will connect and it will read Eastern time and like a default maps section. And then it happens as soon as it starts up. I see the wrong time. I look and see the wrong map, and then it fixes itself.
And I know what you're thinking. Can't I just get one car that everything works on?
No, I don't think I've decided there isn't one. There are no more. Ever. No more. There never were. Everyone always,
There's always something with every car.
It's always something. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Virginia and talk to Timothy. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Timothy, what can we do for you?
Hey, I got a 09 Chevy Silverado, and the column shifter sometimes doesn't go into reverse or anything, but sometimes it does. And I can't figure out why it's doing that.
All right, what are you saying? You pull on it and you can't take it out of gear, or you move it and it doesn't do anything?
Yeah, it moves, but it just doesn't move the shift. Doesn't like engage.
What does it say on the dash? Does it say it's in reverse and say it's in drive, but just doesn't go anywhere?
No, it doesn't say. The shifter just moves freely.
Oh,
okay.
Move like it's not connected to anything.
Right.
Like it's a three it's a 3 on the tree with a clutch pushed in.
Yeah, that is weird because there's bushings that wear out on those transmissions, and then they come undone and it moves freely. But then it never goes back. It never starts working again. And the valve body is mechanically connected in that transmission. It has to move. It's not going to move freely. It's going to either break.
Timothy, does it stay in park when you do it, or does it roll? What happens?
It stays in park until I can get it into reverse.
Okay.
And then, like, when it first started, it was going at like probably once or twice. And then now it's doing it like maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll finally get into reverse. And then once I get it to drive, then it drives fine.
Huh.
And it goes back to park, no problem.
Yeah, I would start by looking underneath.
I've looked online.
Yeah, where the cable connects underneath. I'm guessing that maybe the cable is staying connected to the transmission and to the column on the end where the ball and socket is, but the cable may be slipping in the housing down, or in the bracket down there. And if that's the only thing I could picture that would move, if it was free, you could move it around, and then when you put it back up in park and it gets stuck on the edge, then it could go into gear. It's still going to feel a little weird, but it could go into gear. I bet if you look at it, you're going to see that where the cable attaches to the metal bracket, probably on the transmission end, it's probably broken there, and it's probably slipping back and forth. Occasionally it sticks and rides, but it won't be the ball on the end, because once that comes off, it's off. It's never going to go back on.
Yeah.
But the cable could slide in and out of that bracket if it's broken there. I bet that's what's going on.
Yeah, because I've had a disconnect there before, but I fixed that, and now this is happening.
Yeah, it's got to be outside, because there's nothing inside of that transmission that could break and then start working again.
Is there anything that works, Timothy? Can you move the steering wheel or knock on it 3 times before you? Is there any tricks that you've tried that have worked?
I've tried everything. I've even sometimes I'll put the brake on even harder. Sometimes that'll work.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I'll just keep on, pulling it and trying to push it down to reverse. And
are you parking it in a garage?
No.
Okay. I was just, because what I would do, I would imagine, is I would try it and then I would go, and then I would forget, and it would be not working, and I'd put it in drive instead of reverse, and I'd hit the bench in front of me or something.
That's not good.
No. Timothy, does that help you out, or you kind of got something to look for there?
Yeah, I can look at the cable and 'cause I was hoping it would be something in the column where I could, where it's like not engaging in the column.
That's what I was
There's a
thinking
metal
at first,
bracket in
yeah.
the column that's physically connected to that shifter, solid to it. It's not coming off. If it comes off, it's never going to go back on again. And then the cable snaps in there, but then the cable has a little sleeve and a bracket up top, and then it also has one of the transmissions. So if it's coming loose up top or down at the bottom, it could slide in and out and then lock and go back again. But the ball on the end of it could never come off, because once it comes off, it won't go back on. You have to put it back on.
Yeah.
It's got to be something sliding that cable. And those cables do fail when they get replaced pretty often. We've done a number of them, so it's possible the cable is
just catching in a weird enough way to grab it sometimes.
Yeah.
Timothy, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Got some extra space on the show. Today's a great day to call if you want to get through. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a break.
Find us on radio, YouTube, Facebook, and podcast by searching Under the Hood Show.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Montana and talk to Tony. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Tony, what can we do for you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Great to talk with you. Love your show. I found you a few years ago on KLYQ out of Hamilton, Montana, and
Thanks.
Love what you're doing.
Cool. Thank you very much.
So, hey, anyway, I have an 02 F250 Super Duty 7.3. I have about 155, 156 on it. And just wanted some information. I'm pretty meticulous maintenance-wise on this vehicle. I've been using a Dello 1540, the SDE, which they no longer make. So I switched over to Rotella T6 1540, which is a quote-unquote full synthetic. I generally change the oil and filter on this about every 3,500 to 4,000 miles with the Dello 1540 I was using. Wondering with this T6 if I can go any longer than that, or what you would recommend. And then also have a question for you on my trans, the 4R100, which was kind of one of the weak links on this vehicle, but I have bulletproof that transmission. I generally change the fluid on that about every 5,000 or so. And I've got an external cooler on it, which I also drain, blow out with some low pressure air. And kind of wondering what, you guys might recommend for service intervals on these two items.
Can I take a shot at this one? If you change anything now, if you start lengthening your oil changes, you're always going to wonder. Right? If I were him, Tony, if I were you, I wouldn't change anything on the oil changes. Transmission, I'll turn that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything different on the oil changes. I'd keep the same one. You're changing the oil, but just keep with the same schedule. You'll feel better, and I think you'll be better off. But the transmission, we need to know, how are you using the vehicle? Are you towing with it? Are you driving 1,000 miles a month with it? Are you driving 4,000 miles a month with it? 200 miles? How are you operating it?
It's generally around town. Every once in a while I'll get on the highway, but not very often. It might sit for a week before I drive it, because I've got an old beater car that I usually drive around for errands and stuff like that, and just leave the Power Stroke parked.
I would probably...
So every once in a while I haul a trailer with my tractor on it.
I would say probably every 30,000 miles on the transmission. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Long?
Yeah, because it's long because you're thinking you don't drive it much. It's time-wise, it's going to take a long time to get that many miles on it. But, if that turns into 3 years, I'd probably say change it then. But if it's just driving and you're not really hauling with it, you get more than that. You're into the excessive range where you're wasting your money and the fluid to do that. But that's about where people are going to be at if they're towing. If you were towing with this thing, I'd say inspect that fluid. If it's turning black, you're burning it because you're not keeping it cool enough. It's either you're overloaded or you don't have the proper cooler on it, or you've got a failed cooler and it's burning the fluid. So 30,000 is a pretty secure spot.
Now let me jump in again and say, Tony, on this one, I'm on your side. If I were you, I would keep doing what I'm doing there too. You're saying it's way too soon.
Yeah, if you want, you can do. It doesn't hurt. You could change it every day if you want. You could drive it every hour and change it. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything, but it's money you don't really have to spend on changes because it's not real cheap.
No, it's not. But this is. I told myself when I bought this rig, it's going to be the last truck I ever bought. And,
sure.
Yeah, that's the way that I'm treating it.
Yeah, if you want to look at it, and I don't know if where you get 30,000 miles on it, that might be 5 years for you with where you're driving. I mean, I've got a truck that it only picks up, in the last 5 years, it's only got 9,000 miles on it. So, and I feel like I'm driving it all the time, but I'm really not.
Yeah.
And that's had the transmission fluid changed every couple years. So, you might just do it by year-wise and just do it every 2 years or 30,000 miles, whichever comes first. Sounds like it's going to be years before time.
Right. Okay, well, great. That gives me some more info. And what about the fuel filter on this also? Because I change that probably about every 5,000 to 6,000.
I'd probably change it at every oil change. Ford really recommends stepping up fuel filters. You can't hurt it by having a clean filter on it with the fuel. It's very important to keep that system spotless.
Cool.
That feels, Tony,
right,
that feels like advice you want.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't change a thing, Tony, if I were you, because the way you're going, it's working, and you'll always wonder if you change anything. Thanks very much for the call, Tony.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
866-594-4150. You know what I mean? Because he's trying for it. So if he changes anything and it doesn't go,
maintenance on vehicles in general is it's something a lot of people don't do it when they should. But then some people get overprescribed. So you go into a quick lube place, and not all quick lubes are this way, but you can go into a quick lube and they can look at your car and say, here's your fluids. Everybody's seen the thing where they come out with the rag and they
air
it should
filter.
Or the drops. This should be clean and red or blue and orange. And this is what you got. You should change it. Well, if you're thinking, I can't remember the last time I changed that, you should really get it done to save the life of your car. But if you know you've just had it done, you owe it to them and yourself to say, I had this done 10,000 miles ago, 20,000, and then ask them the question to see if they know their stuff. Why would it be this dirty already if I just changed it? And they might give you the, I don't know. That's when you need to talk to your mechanic, because let's say you've got one vehicle that does this, the Jeep Renegade, the Dodge Nitros. They would have a problem with the transmission coolers starting to collapse, and they would get a little hot. And as they did, they would start to oxidize the transmission fluid. They would start to turn black. If you caught them in time, you could put a new cooler on it, a few $100, change the fluid, and you were good. And we had people come and say, I just flushed my transmission like 3 months ago, and it's already starting to turn black. You got a cooler problem. Let's fix it. So that's a good way to gauge what's happening and prevent future problems. So maintain those fluids, keep an eye on it, but also write it down. Keep a schedule in your glove box.
Did you hear Tony's reaction when you told him 30,000 miles?
He's like, oh my gosh, that's forever. But it's really not.
866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
More powerful than spilled milk in the backseat of a hot car. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Don't forget, if you miss an episode, you can find it wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch the show at our YouTube channel. If you subscribe there and join the Hoodie Fan Club at underthehoodshow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Abby McKenzie, congratulations from our friends over at Berkeley One Classics. And they're celebrating over 50 years of collector car coverage, and they can take care of you. Just give them a call. Get a quote.
You should.
You'll be amazed at what you can save and the coverage you're going to get. They're not cheating you out of any coverage by giving you a better price.
That agreeing on it ahead of time and also covering work that isn't done or parts you have that they're not just, you can talk about not just the car as it sits,
right?
But the car as it sits with the new engine sitting over on the bench or
spare
whatever.
Parts coverage, whether the car is running or not, in any condition, they can work with you on whatever you have on your car.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Michigan and talk to Terry. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Terry, what can we do for you?
Good morning, guys. It's Gary.
Hey.
I've talked to you a couple of times before. First of all, thank you so much. On 59 El Camino, you've got that thing just running so sweet. It runs cool. It runs great. I want to thank you guys publicly for all that.
We like
got
it.
a couple questions on
You're
two different vehicles.
Okay.
We've got an 11 Mustang, 3.7-liter automatic, air conditioning. It's a convertible right now, and I turned the air on, and just like every other year that we've had the car since, I've had 6 or 7 years now, the air conditioning takes longer and longer to cool off. Yesterday, it finally started to cool off a little bit. Now, my question is this. Since it's still got some kind of juice in it, should I just go ahead and put like a bottle of coolant in it, or should I have the entire thing flushed out and redone? Trying to figure out what I need to do for the convertible.
At this point, with the amount of years that it's done this, a little bit each year, I'm afraid that what's happening is you've got air in there too, because in the winter time when it drops down very cold, it will allow air in as well. So you've probably got some air mixed in that system. I would have it completely evacuated and recharged. And while they're at it, they can take a look for leaks. They can run their sniffer over it, see where the leaks may be. Could be that it's just the service port valves that are leaking. So I would say at the minimum, vacuum it down, evacuate it, pull the service valves out, put new service valves in. And this is like, for me, if you come to me and I say it's this much money to recharge it, well, how much to put 2 new service valves in? Typically, it's another $20 total. So put those 2 valves in. They're like tire valves. Put them in and then recharge it. That may be your whole problem.
The chances of him putting something in is
it's probably going to make it a little better.
Help a little,
it's
but
not
it's
going
not
to be
gonna fix it.
amazing. Yeah, and it's been so long. I think he's going to be better off just to get it professionally recharged and have those valves replaced.
Okay.
Before we get to your next question, I just want to say I want an El Camino and a Mustang convertible. That's what that sounds fun. Okay, go ahead, Gary. Go with your next question.
Okay, I'm just making myself a note on the Mustang.
Okay.
All right, we'll get that ready. The other car is my runner car when I put the Mustang away. A couple of years ago, we bought a 2005 Lexus RX330. Beautiful car, I love it. 3.3-liter automatic, of course. Came up from Florida, absolutely no rust, no nothing. Runs fabulous. But I've got an issue with it. The battery, I bought it from a dealer, a brand new Chevy dealer, who took this car in, and they just said, we're a brand new Chevy dealer in the middle of Indiana. we don't really need to sell a Lexus here, do we? And I said, no, you sure don't. So I said, I worked with the car business, not in the car business, but with it for many, many years. And I said, you get ready to just, put it on the auction? He said, probably yes, because not too many people in farm country want a Lexus. And I said, tell you what, make me an offer and I'll take it, because this is exactly what I'm looking for. So I got the car. I knew I needed a couple things, which we got fixed immediately. But it was maybe about, a couple months later, the factory radio died. And I said, okay, I've got a wonderful mechanic who's done tremendous amount of stuff for me over the years. I bought a new Kenwood unit because I wanted something with a CD player, because I still have lots of CDs to play. He put it in, it's worked perfectly. And then the battery that was in there was an older battery, and it just died. No problem, put a brand new battery in. But what I found this spring, when I was getting the Mustang out, I had to leave the Lexus sitting in the driveway for a couple weeks, and we had to go out on an emergency situation with our family out in Portland, Oregon. And I was getting ready to move the Lexus out of the way so we could get the other cars away. On a brand new battery, it was dead. I mean, it didn't even click. And I called, our local service company. They came out, instantly got it started, and I just decided, okay, I'm going to put a battery tender on it, and it's working fine right now. But if I leave the car without driving it for a couple of weeks, it's going to go flat again. Where should I start to look for maybe a bad ground, a bad whatever? Because the car runs great as long as I drive it every day.
I'm going to take a shot at this one too.
Go for it.
There's no problem, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. But a couple weeks.
A couple weeks is enough for a vehicle like that with a lot of accessories to start getting low enough to run down and then quit. So that really where you start is you check the current draw with everything shut down and everything asleep. You look and see what that draw is, and if it's less than like 150 milliamps or so, that's low. That's where it's supposed to be. That thing shuts down. I mean, a lot of modern cars, some will go longer than others, but like for my car, I've got a Camaro that if it sits it's about 4 weeks, it's dead. Less than that, it's not. But that's just what it does. Is it pulls? It's got a lot of residual, a lot of things going. We have various customers with different cars, and some of them will go 6 weeks, some of them will go 2 weeks before they get weak. But with the Lexus like that, I've had some come to my place that they drop them off and they're completely dead if they've sat for 2.5, 3 weeks because we're waiting for a part or something, and they leave it early.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very possible. I would definitely get a battery maintaining device. Optima makes a great maintainer charger that tells you the state of the battery, and it just does everything you'd need to do for that vehicle. You can plug it in and leave it on it when you're not using it, and it'll keep the battery in good condition. Because if a battery's not being used, a couple things happen. I mean, it's going to slowly go down, but it's not. The battery likes to exercise. It likes to have electrons flowing and moving all the time. So with a maintainer on it, it's going to fluctuate that battery and keep it in an active state more so than just a battery sitting on the shelf disconnected. It's going to keep that thing alive. Audiobatteries.com has great information on all that too. It'll give you more details on how all that works and why cars go dead when they sit and things like that.
And I'll say this, Gary, just as someone who does the exact same thing, we have one that sits, and the other day I was getting in it. I hadn't driven it in maybe a week and a half or two, and then I noticed, it's been like a month. And when if we go back and listen to this, Gary, you said a few days at first, and then a couple weeks. I think it just gets longer than you think without noticing. But is that possible? That it's longer than it seems like it should be?
3 would definitely do it,
right?
Yeah, especially with a virtually brand new battery. But what I did was in fact, I just unplugged it a couple days ago. What I did was I put a battery tender on it. Everything seemed fine. It was starting just great and everything. So then I unplugged it, drove it for a day or so, came back, plugged it back in, but I want to know, what do I need to do to, should I just drive it every, say, once a week or something, just drive it for running around town or something for that day and then put it away for another week? I'm just trying to figure out, because it's a 20-year-old Lexus. It's got stuff on it, yeah, as far as options and things, but it doesn't seem like it'd have that much from a 20-year-old vehicle.
I would think that putting the battery tender on it,
battery maintainer, is going to keep it charged.
And just do it all the time, because what's going to happen is you're going to pull it in and go, I'll drive it again in a few days, and not put it on, and then it's a couple weeks. Just there's nothing you have to do once you use the battery maintainer, right?
And if it gets low and you think you can drive it to get it charged up again, the car's got a lot of accessories, a lot of things running. It will never fully charge if it's gotten pretty low. If it'll start on its own, you think, well, it's starting now. It's not going to really get to 100% charge. It's going to take a week of driving to get there, because it creeps up slowly. It doesn't go real fast. So that maintainer will keep that battery fresh and maintained, and it will just be better overall. And also, using an AGM battery in there, those are a lot tougher. They last longer when they're subject to sitting. They hold up a lot better than a regular flooded lead acid battery will.
So just keep that maintainer on whenever you're not out of the garage, and you'll be fine.
If you know you're not going to drive it for at least 3-4 days, if you know you're driving it every few days, don't worry about it. But if you know it's hey, I don't know the next time I'm going to drive
it. And if you're not sure, plug it in. Does that help you out there, Gary?
It does. I do look back on on one I got. I put the battery in about a year ago. I do wish now I bought an AGM battery. I've got it in my wife's Mazda, and that son of a gun just keeps going. I should have spent the extra money and gotten one of them. You'll live and learn.
There you go. And now, well, the good news is you're going to need one sooner anyways, right?
If you keep leaving the battery tender off it,
you'll get your opportunity. Don't worry about it. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
Look, up in the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No. And who cares? We're down here, driving cars. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's talk to Roger. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Roger, what can we do for you?
Hey, good morning, guys. I've got a X300 John Deere riding lawnmower, and car stuff fine, runs fine I could be mowing for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then act like it's running out of gas. Won't stay running. I've had the gas tank off cleaned. I put a new fuel line on, new fuel pump on, new spark plugs on, and they still don't work. But after I set for a while, it'll start right back up again.
Have you looked? What else have you done to it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering on that. So you've taken the tank off and you cleaned it, but do you have a clear fuel line anywhere on it near where it runs into the engine, or is it all
No, it's all
dark?
rubber.
Okay, you're going to need to.
All new.
Okay, I would replace that with a after the where the fuel pump before it comes in there on the suction side. I would replace that with a section of clear hose, so you can see what it looks like. If you see that the fuel is disappearing and it's turning to air there, that means you've got something going on. There's a restriction in that tank. There's something missed in there. Somehow it's getting air in there. And then you can go on the output side of the fuel pump. They do sell really cheap fuel gauges that you can pick up online, like for $10-$20, that you could put in line and leave it there to see what you're at. That's how you're going to diagnose it. That's how a shop's going to do it. Lawnmower shop's going to put that on there. And then if they have to run this thing for an hour, they're going to charge you an hour time for driving it around their parking lot until they get it to die. So you could save that diagnosis and find out what's going on. I had a little John Deere lawnmower like that, and it had where the where the drain was in the tank, where I cleaned the tank out and everything, but it had a below the screen, like the screen was in there, but past that there was some trash in there that was clogging up the line, so it would starve it for fuel every once in a while. And when I took it apart, I ended up blowing air backwards through the line, and when I did, it blew the screen off inside. And when the screen came off, then the trash behind the screen came out. I wasn't able to see it because all I saw was a good clean screen, but I didn't know that dirt had collected past it and gone down into that line. It just was because I couldn't see it. I bet that's it. You've got to be losing either you're losing fuel pressure because the pump is not doing it, or you're losing fuel. We need to make sure with a clear line we're getting feed up to the pump. And if that's not good, then the pump can't pressurize it and move it through.
Right.
But if it is good and we don't have any pressure coming out of the pump, then we know that the pump is getting weak. When it's getting hot, it's not able to pump fuel.
Yeah, because I've got the new pump on it. No, it wouldn't be the ignition solenoid, would it?
Well, we need to find out, is it a fuel problem? Are we losing fuel, or are we losing spark? Because if the ignition's a problem, yeah, that'll shut it down too, just like it'll seem like fuel because it'll just kill it. But
yeah,
we need to diagnose that. There's 2 steps there. Let's verify we've got fuel, verify we've got spark. I mean, if you don't want to mess with the fuel system, you can just check the spark side, get a voltmeter, put on the coil, and drive it and watch it. And if it shows that you've got battery voltage there until it dies and then the battery voltage goes away, you haven't disconnected anything of the fuel, you haven't made it, you're not getting a mess of the fuel running out, and you say, well, there's my problem. I've lost it. It's shut down right there. But, are we losing the primary side of that coil are we losing like voltage going into it, or is the engine side, which is controlling the spark, stopping there? I mean, it's just a step-by-step. It's exactly like diagnosing a car, just on something smaller.
So he just needs to pick which angle he wants to start with.
Figure out where you want to start, fuel or spark. Go from there.
Yeah. I haven't had the tank off, and not like everything's new, but
Roger, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Frank. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Frank, what can we do for you?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I have a 22 F150. I called a couple weeks ago regarding a whistle noise. I brought it in, and they determined that they had to rebuild the rear differential. After they did that, they said that they caused a vibration. They had it for a couple more days. They swapped out a bunch of parts trying to figure out what it was. They came up with that it was there was a lot of metal back in the fluid, the rear differential fluid. They have now ordered a new housing. They're having to replace the rear axle, a bearing, and a seal. But my question is, with finding a lot of metal in the rear differential fluid, did they damage the newly built rear differential? Should I be asking them to replace that again, or how do I determine if that was damaged when they caused that vibration or had the vibration?
I don't know. I'm wondering where so it didn't have a vibration before they rebuilt it?
No, it did not.
All right, so that's
a significant vibration.
That's a problem right there for me. So if I rebuild it, let's say I rebuild a differential. If I bring it in and I drive it, and it's a little loose or making some noise, but it's smooth, and then I rebuilt it, and it's vibrating, when I rebuild that, I'm going to say, Frank, you've got metal in the oil in the rear end. Let's just replace the whole unit with a certified used one, save you a ton of money, or a rebuilt unit. But 2, if there really was no metal in that oil when they rebuilt it, and now there's a vibration after it's rebuilt, I think the vibration was something wearing and caused the metal to fill up the rear end. So at that point, for me, if I just rebuilt it for you and you bring it back in, I'm like, oh, it's vibrating and I got metal in there. I'm like, nope, I'm done with this. I'm putting another one in. I'm putting another unit in because something I did caused the metal in there and caused the vibration. Now, if they're going to cover, if you just paid for the differential only, you had to pay for something because something was definitely broke. If they're covering the cost of fixing the vibration and cleaning it up, then they're probably fine.
And I think, Frank, that's what you said, right?
Correct. Yes. They even said they caused the vibration after they rebuilt the rear differential. There was no vibration prior to that, just a noise.
Is there any charge for this extra work?
Ordering no. And luckily it was a warranty item, so it cost me $100.
Okay,
so
then you're probably good there. I don't think that,
okay.
If you got some metal filings in there, those are big, heavy gears back there, and it's very unlikely there's going to be any damage there. And they're probably replacing the bearings anyways, which would take the load of that problem, and that may be where the vibration came from. So I wouldn't have any worries there. But once they change this fluid and they've got it all done, I would definitely inspect that fluid down the road, like in 500 to 1,000 miles, make sure it's still clean and that there's no metal filings in it, that it doesn't need to be changed again.
And it sure seems, Frank, like you can trust them on this one.
Well, if they told you right out.
Yeah, they're replacing it. They noticed the difference, so they're fixing it. The question, should he do anything with the different? They replace the differential.
I think it'll be fine because they're already replacing whatever parts were bad. They're going to inspect, and if they needed to do something with that differential, it sounds like they'd probably be doing it again anyways. And, shops aren't perfect. We all have things that happen like that, whether it was, we got a little careless, we missed it. Well, we got to fix it.
Yeah.
Or it broke because it was a failure in a part. Those things happen. It's good to know that they're doing this because, like I said, if it was fine before and you paid them to replace this and now it does it, then they should be covering it, which it sounds like they're doing what they should.
Does that help you out there, Frank?
Yep. No, they've been doing it. Oh yeah, 100%. That's exactly what I was looking for. I just wanted to know if there was going to be any kind of concern that
I don't think so.
What to look for, but yeah, looking at the fluid 500 miles or 1,000 miles was a great thing to do.
There you go, Frank. Thanks very much for the call. And it sounds like if you do find something weird or something happens, you can bring it back. They're going to be with you on it. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Georgia and talk to Peter. What can we do for you, Peter?
Guys, thanks for your show. Appreciate it. I love listening to you every week.
Cool. Thank you.
I do have a question. I need to transport a car from Georgia to California. The question is, how do I find a reliable, trustworthy transporter?
Reliable carriers. That's the one I know. That just comes to my mind when I'm watching Barrett Jackson and I see that pop up all the time.
What's the vehicle?
Subaru Forester.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There's many ways to get that transported. You don't necessarily need to go with somebody like that with enclosed transportation. If you get online and look up companies that do that, you'll find them that there's plenty out there. And there's a lot of guys that have flatbeds, independent drivers. They're towing other stuff, and they'll put a car on. You'll see them moving across country as well. They need a dock to get it loaded where you're at. That'll save you money if they get a low truck that has a ramp on it where they can come to your house and get it, like Reliable Carriers or whatever that has a hydraulic lift. That's going to be more money. So if you can find a place with a ramp to get it on the back of the truck and then a ramp to get it off, and they're going that direction, it could be less than half, maybe even a third for that transportation cost. Because I've had some come from like down in Georgia, Texas, up here to South Dakota, and they're $600-700 when they're thrown on a flatbed load with something else, or in the back of a reefer van when there's other stuff coming. But when they're hauled by a professional carrier that comes to your house, drives it in like a tow truck, it could be $2,500. So, look online. You'll find them, and there's a lot of them that'll say certified to move it. They're insured and bonded, things like that.
Peter, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. That'll do it for hour one. Hour two is coming up at the Under the Hood Show.
You're listening to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics, Shannon Nordstrom and Russ the Super Tech Evans. Shannon is an ASE engine and parts specialist, and Russ is an ASE Master Certified Technician with extensive factory drivability training. The Under the Hood Show is heard weekly on this and other great radio stations.
With Russ Evans, this is Shannon Nordstrom, thanking you for tuning in to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show. Have a great day, and remember, PTLA.
The opinions heard on this program, based on the many years of experience of Russ and Shannon, are offered for entertainment value and as a guide to your repair needs. No guarantee to repair or cause is given or implied. Always check with your favorite certified technician and follow all safety procedures before attempting repair. The Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics is reproduced and distributed by Prairie House Productions. Have questions for the Motor Medics? Call our 24-hour toll-free number, 866-594-4150. All content of the Under the Hood Show is the property of Nordstrom's Incorporated. Copyright Nordstrom's Automotive and may be reproduced with our permission. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Hey, thanks for joining us Under the Hood.
I'm Chris Carter, here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. And Shannon's not here this week. So next week, right? Next week.
He's back with a fleet of people next week.
Oh, that's right. That's right. 866-594-4150. Let's get right to the calls coming in during the break. Let's talk to Ethan in New Hampshire. Ethan, you're on the Under the Hood Show. What can we do for you?
Hi, guys. I have a 2014 GMC Sierra 1500, and I'm having a lot of issues with the ABS. Real low speeds, it activates and makes the pedal rock hard. Every start, it turns the hill assist start on. And I'm not getting a code to track down. My gut tells me I got a wheel speed sensor failing within range, but I was hoping you could point me in a good direction here.
I think you're probably right on that. It probably is a wheel speed sensor that's causing it. You'll have to have a scanner attached to it when you drive it to see what sensor, which by the data, which sensor is not reading, which one drops out. If you have a weak tone ring, something's broken, weak magnet, it will drop out at low RPM. So you could get 3 mile an hour reading on 3 of them, but 0 on 1 as it falls below that speed. And that's when the ABS is going to activate and the pedal's going to feel differently than it normally does. And it can also be caused by a broken wire. If you got a break in the wire between the wheel hub and the sensor up to where it plugs into the body harness there in the front, it can do that. The rear can do it as well, but usually we find it's one of the fronts. Sometimes it happens as you're turning. If it's one of those that's broken in the front, as you turn, it can do it. Our partner over at Dorman
Would that not set an ABS light off?
No, if it's falling within its range, it's low enough speed that it kicks that light on.
Gotcha.
What you can do is watch it and see if it drops out. And then sometimes what people will do is you raise it and it's, secured on a hoist and they've got it in 4-wheel drive and you're running all 4 wheels and they're all spinning. Watch those speeds or just spin them by hand. And if one drops out, that's the wheel. And the other thing you can do is turn the wheel all the way to the right and then center and then all the way to the left. And if it drops out as you're turning, it's one of those wheel speed sensors up there where the wire goes between the hub and the body. And like I was saying, that Dorman Products, our partner, sells the sensor and that little harness there because it breaks. On some of the older cars, they actually sell just the harness where it plugs in close to the connector and then runs up to the body because that's the part that breaks, and then you got to cut it and splice it, and it comes with heat shrink connectors because that's a pretty common thing. The 14s, not so much. We don't see a lot of them fail, not compared to what vehicles did back in the 03 to 6, 7 range. They failed quite often. We were replacing those every couple of weeks. But in these 14s, we have had it happen, but not as often. So I think you are going to find either a sensor or the hub. It's got a little ceramic magnet in there. It's internal in the hub, and they just crack and fail. But it's nothing worse than when you come to a stop and the brakes are at their worst just before you stop, and it's every time almost.
Yep, pretty much goes rock hard, and you got to put everything you got into it to make it actually stop moving.
Is there any advantage to that with hooking the scanner up that it happens every time you can see it?
Oh, that's great. I'd love to have somebody come in and when they have a problem and say, this happens every single time. But what they usually tell me is, oh, this happens every single time, except it didn't happen on the way here.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen yesterday. But other than that, it's every single time. Oh,
just about. Anytime someone says just about, you're in trouble.
Gentlemen.
Does that help you out there, Ethan?
Yes, it does. You guys have a great day.
Thanks very much for the call. You too. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Michigan and talk to Jonathan. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Jonathan, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I got a 2004 Volvo S60, and I don't know if I'm tracing an electrical problem here or if it's just a mechanical issue. I have some days where it'll tell me I got a bulb failure, and then it'll do like a intermediate misfire. I can do one trip to work, run perfectly fine, hop into that, they're sitting all day, all those lights come on, and it just runs like crap. I've tried changing the spark plugs. I've had the coils tested, and everything keeps coming back fine.
what lights do you have on?
I have a check engine light, and then that little yellow exclamation for bulb failure. I got a bulb location failure, but all my bulbs are working. Headlights, taillights, turn signals, everything.
Okay, but you do have a check engine light?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what are the codes for the check engine light? Have you checked those yet?
Cylinder 2 and cylinder 5 misfire.
Okay, so
you like ignition E or however it's worded. I forgot exactly off the top of my head. I don't have the scanner in front of me.
If you have ignition, if it shows misfire, but then you have ignition codes, usually that's a coil failure, like ignition E circuit. A, B, C, D, E would be 5. A, B, C would be 3 for cylinders. That's how a lot of the foreign ones do that. They go by the letter to give you a cylinder up to 12 cylinder. But if you've got a misfire and you've got a circuit code, a lot of times that's the actual coil itself that's failing. And when the coil and the boots go bad, they'll arc to ground and they'll give you that random misfire. So I would look in that direction for that. It might just be time for a tune-up where you get a set of coils and plugs and put them on and take care of it if it's got over 100,000 miles on it for sure, or just that, the 04 is plenty of time.
Got 226 on it.
226,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely time for coils and plugs. But as far as those lights coming on, two things happen on those cars. One, you could have, if somebody's put the wrong bulb in there and you're just, you say, oh, my bulb went out, so I pull it out and I put another one in. Well, you match the number on the bulb typically is what most people do. But you might still be putting the wrong bulb in it. They have different wattages and they can cause the brake light warning, tail light warning, lamp out warning to come on. So you want to make sure that you've got the right bulb. You could go to Advanced Auto Parts, ask the counter person, what bulb does this take? And it's as simple as you go to the bulb, it says it's out, pull it out, read the number off it, put it on your phone or write it down, then go into Advanced and say, look, I need to know what bulb this takes because I think I might have the wrong one in it. He'll look it up and go, oh, that's supposed to be a 3157 and you got a 3057 in it. Let's get you one, and then you put it in and that could take care of it. The other thing is when you're putting the bulbs in, use dielectric grease to keep the moisture out of the socket so you don't have any issue there, and make sure there's no corrosion in the socket. The little monitoring system in those cars is very sensitive. The third thing, which you don't want, is a little monitoring thing in there is very sensitive, and it might just be broken, and you're not going to find, I don't think, for this one, a replacement. We had a hard time finding replacements for them 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, way back then when they were really popular and newer. But I think that's what's going on with your car there.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely have to try changing the bulbs and doing a good tune-up on it, especially with the commute I do with it. And have to go from there. Hopefully it does take care. I'm just curious if it was like a common problem from I have electrical issues or.
That is, I've done that where, because I don't ever match up the parts. What I mean is, if I had a light out, I would never go take the light out and look at it and then go to the thing. I would automatically go find out the replacement and how much it is and decide on whether to fix it or not on that. But I have done that where I've got a bulb out and I go buy the right part, bring it, and go, wait a second, this
It's not
isn't
the
right.
same.
And then I realized that I'm right. I mean,
They gave you the right one.
they gave me the right one, and what was in there was wrong.
But you're talking about a bulb that's already out. He just has
Yeah.
the warning on the dash that says like tail light out,
Right.
but his tail light's working. That's when I really get into let's find out what's up with the bulb. I mean, we might have the wrong bulb in there. Something's going on because the light says it's out, but it's not. If it sees the wrong wattage in that bulb, that's how
It's going to say, hey,
the
something's
resistance
wrong
is what turns the light on the dash.
Jonathan, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you. 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
Three friends talking cars. You decide if they know what they're talking about. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. This came in on the text. I have a 99 3.8 Mustang making a knocking noise only at idle. I was told that it could be the flywheel. Went and looked and it was missing a nut. Put a nut back on, but they're still making the noise. By the way, oil has no metal in it, and put a camera down for the cylinders. They look great. Thank you.
Try the other two. It's always the last one.
Yeah.
Wow. So the flywheel was missing one of the fasteners. That's not good. But the flywheel was missing a fastener. Either it was vibrating, knocking, causing it to come loose, or, hey, where is the fastener? Maybe the fastener's making the noise. I have seen bolts come out, float around in the bell housing, get lodged somewhere, and then the flywheel's touching it going tuk, 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 tuk.
So it could just be.
I mean, we're guessing because we don't have the car. We haven't heard the noise. We don't know what they found, but that is very possible. I've seen flywheel bolts on an automatic, flex plate. They come loose, whatever, usually a torque converter bolt because the flywheel bolt's usually pretty much sandwiched in between there. It's not coming out. Yeah, you can get all sorts of weird stuff. If it's just barely contacting, it'll make a knocking noise. If it gets a good bite, it'll make a really loud knocking noise.
And only at idle.
Well, it's maybe because you can only hear it at idle because the engine's louder when it's revved up. But also, as you accelerate and you give an engine fuel, with an automatic transmission, the flywheel is called a flex plate because it flexes and it moves substantially back and forth as you're on the gas and off the gas. And if it's got something on the edge making contact at low speed, it might be touching it, but as soon as you give it gas, it pulls away and it's not there anymore. It's kind of like a brake noise when you got a brake shield is a little bent. It goes squeak, squeak, squeak when you're going down the road. If you turn to the right or left, the squeak may go away, but then straight again, it's doing it. Or it only squeaks when you're going around a corner because it leans, it flexes, and leans just enough to contact it. That's a possibility too. So
You just said on the chat, didn't think about the nut in the bell housing, haven't found it. Might just be sitting there. Might just be laying there.
Or if you take off on an on-ramp, hit it real hard, you hear a ting, and it comes out the side of the bell housing or somewhere.
Oh, the tailpipe just, does it work? Is there any chance it'll just work its way through and solve itself?
I don't know. Doesn't sound good.
Let's go to Iowa and talk to David. You're on the Under the Hood Show. David, what can we do for you?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I have a 2013 Ford F150 with the 3.5 EcoBoost. Has about 127,000 miles. And my mechanic, I really appreciate all he does. And every last couple times he's written on my oil change bill that he says, well, you have a right the right side valve cover is leaking, and it's backed by the vacuum pump. And then he also says the front timing chain cover is leaking too. And so I haven't noticed any oil on the floor front, toward the front of the motor or the back. But how long can I go without fixing that valve cover gasket? And if he takes that front timing chain cover off, should he go ahead and change the timing chain on that thing? So,
Well, you can go as long as you want until oil's pouring on the ground and you can't keep oil in it. And that's really the fact of that. If it's not reaching the ground, it's not a big enough leak to be of enough concern to really worry about. But
right.
if it's
until
it is, it's not like it's going to be damp today and then all of a sudden it's just running out tomorrow. I haven't seen that happen. So,
okay.
With that being said, though, leaking oil that is seeping on other components will cause other components to fail. If it gets on the AC hoses, on the power steering lines, on the transmission cooler lines, and sits there, it's going to start to rot those. It's a solvent, so it's going to start to rot those lines, make them soft, come apart. It's good to get it fixed. As for the vacuum pumps leak all the time on these things. It's a very common failure. Dorman Products makes those. We get them from Dorman all the time, put them on vehicles, stops the leak. It's just a housing issue these things had. And they're pretty affordable too. Putting it on is a little bit of labor because it's buried in the back. A lot of times we find we start with that because we find the valve cover is not really leaking. It's the pump that's leaking. But to be sure, a lot of shops will say, let's do the cover gasket and the pump together because then they know you're not coming back. The leak is fixed, whatever it was. As for the front end, if you're pulling that cover off for any reason, I'm gonna put timing chains. A 13 F150, knowing the history we've had with chains and guides, I'm just gonna put some chains on it and new guides.
Sure.
Do the whole kit and get it done. Is this engine, if you're not doing really super heavy towing and overloading it, it has the capability of making it 300,000 miles. We've seen plenty in our shop with 300,000. I think we've still got some on our shelf here at our shop for sale that have that many miles on it. So we know they'll go that far. We've also seen them fail at 40 to 60,000 miles because they were way over towed. But when you've got it apart, time to put chains on it. And unless they take it apart and they see absolutely no wear, no stretch, the guides are looking like brand new, maybe then they leave them. But if there are any signs at all that they're worn, I mean, you got enough miles on that thing, I'd say they're probably going to show somewhere.
Sure. Well, I appreciate the advice. I just thought, well, I better check in and listen to you guys all the time. It's fun to listen to you on the show, and I always learn something. So thanks.
Thanks very much for the call, David. Good luck. Did you ever think we would be talking about the EcoBoost in 15 years?
I was a little leery when I first heard it come out.
Were we at SEMA the first time we saw that?
Yeah. When they were introducing the EcoBoost, they said, we're going to show you how tough it is. So they had one that was super built up. I mean, I think it was like 600 horsepower. And they were running it around. And it was a Raptor, but the Raptor wasn't out yet.
Right.
But it was definitely a Raptor. Looking back now, like, no, that was a Raptor, and it didn't say Raptor. They had the fender flares and everything, but we're like, oh, that's a race truck. No, it was stock. But they were beating the heck out of that thing, and they drove it for 3 days, and then finally we heard this loud bang and brr, 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 and it was dead. Yeah. And then they got another one out there and started cranking on it, but it was tough. But that was a purpose-built truck. They knew what they were going to do. What happens is they build it also purpose-built for towing up to X amount of pounds, and people add 3,000 to 5,000, maybe 8 more than they're supposed to. And then they're like, oh, it pulls it just fine because the motor's strong enough to pull it, but it doesn't have the longevity. And then it blows up. It's too much load. So if it's properly used, it has the proper gear ratio, proper towing package. Yeah, they can be a really good worker. The other one that's really good that we're just now starting to see some failures on are the 19 and up 4-cylinder turbo Chevy engine, like the Silverados. We got one in our shop right now to put an engine in that is done. That was a really tough engine. Weren't hardly any sales on them, but now they're just starting to break out into failures on some of those.
Well, and we've had calls over the years where someone calls and says they had the EcoBoost specifically, and had it, and it was working so well that they almost forgot that they had that and they just like any truck, they'd go, oh, well, it works great at this much. It'll be fine at another 1,000 or 2,000 pounds. So we did have that for quite a while where people didn't have a problem, and it actually, because it wasn't having any problems, it caused them a problem later.
Right.
It is interesting though to see someone call with a 14-year-old truck and not have had any issues until now.
Exactly.
866-594-4150. What's caught your attention? What's going on at the shop that you've noticed?
We're getting a lot of things coming in. I mean, we always do, but it gets me how long people wait with their AC.
Air conditioning that's what I was thinking.
We are buried right now with AC stuff, and I'm telling people, I give them a date, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, is it that long?" I'm like, "Well, you can check around." Well, I already have checked around, and they're 3 times as long as what you guys are. I'm like, okay, and they're more money, so they said, "So I want to bring it to you." Okay, and then they try to rush you like it's going to get you to go faster or something like that. But more than half of those people told me, just said, "Hey, yeah, it wasn't working last summer. At the end of the summer, it was getting a little weak, so I thought I'd get it fixed before this year." This year is here. We've already had days getting close to 100, and you waited, so you just still get to wait. You should have brought it in. We had the whole winter that we could have repaired it. Would have been just fine. Saved you some time and money, and we had last fall. And just if you want your car fixed quickly, you think about, with the shops.
Do I get it?
Fair.
Will you, like, if I bring it in December, is there like a discount for AC service?
No, but it won't cost any extra, and you'll get it back faster.
And the longer you wait on AC, the more possible
other things can happen. Yeah, you don't know. You've got to get that thing. You do not want air in the system. It'll cause corrosion. Things can stick and fail.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us at the End of the Hood Show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you. 866-594-4150. Local lines are open. 866-594-4150. Don't forget, if you miss an episode of the Under the Hood Show, you can always find it wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and rate it if you want. And you can watch the show at our YouTube channel. If you subscribe there and join the Hoodie Fan Club at underthehoodshow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Roger Humphreys, congratulations from our friends over at Berkeley One Classics. They're celebrating over 50 years of collector car coverage, and they've got the package for you.
Yeah, because you can decide. You can decide what you want to do.
It's a great value.
I don't get to do that with my regular car insurance.
No, you sure don't. It just keeps going up, and they keep giving you less. So not true with Berkeley One. They give you a good rate. They give you excellent coverage.
866-594-4150. Here's a question coming in on the chat this morning, today. Just wanted to give you an update on the 2018 Crosstrek with the Mishimoto oil cooler. I remember this one.
Huh? Yeah.
My engine oil temp went from 240 to 250 down to 214 while towing a camper. CVT temperature was 224. Not sure what it was before, as I didn't have the car scanner. So they switched up the oil cooler. We talked about that. And that was he towing too heavy, did we say?
He was towing pretty heavy.
Yeah. So he's got it a little bit brought down there. That's good. You want that. You want it to be lower. I don't, that temp You know this because I used to call you all the time on it or ask you. Well, the temps are high, and they're even at normal. They're higher than me. Seeing the transmission temp on my car was the worst. I think it was the thing that made me feel the worst.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see them get up there when you're towing. You'll hit 200 degrees, but you can bring that down with the right oil cooler and stuff. I like to see them, but if I'm towing and I've got one running around 100 and 160, 170, I mean, that's like a dream to me. I'm like, this is great. Just keep those temperatures down and keep the parts nice and cool. I want them warm enough where they're working and, at the everything right, but I don't want to get them too hot. If I get so hot, I'm burning the fluid and losing protection. I get nervous. If I see that thing creeping over 205, 210, I'm like, yeesh, we're getting up there. Let's slow down a little bit. And usually down they come. Because at higher speeds, the air, you can't move enough air across that cooler.
I did like when the truck I had for a while that had an external cooler, it also had a warning light that would come on if it got hot. And it didn't come on because I never towed anything. And it was like remember that?
I was like, how did you know it had a warning light?
It was like a fifth wheel that had 500,000 miles on it. And it was great running that thing empty because it was just fine.
I forgot about the old beast of a truck.
Yeah. All right, here's one that came in. You guys have talked about E30 fuel.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that in Indiana, so I mix my own at the pump. I have a 2022 6.2 Silverado that recommends 91 octane, and I want to know if you need to mix. Oh, here's. Do you need to mix 91 premium with E85 to make E30, or can you use an 87 octane with E85? I understand that the ratios of fuel need to be mixed, but I try to get as close as I can. This is a tough one with E85.
Well, here's the problem, because you need to know what the content of alcohol is in that fuel. It's not 85. So if you're saying, well, this is 85% and I'll mix it, then you're
Theoretically, it could be.
It could be. I know there's a place in Wichita, Kansas that does that. But it specifies. You usually just says right on the pump, this is going to vary.
57, right? Is it 57 to 85?
I saw one the other day that said 50 to 80% on it.
Okay.
I mean, so they're all different. They can be whatever in a lot of these cases. They're supposed to be a little more standardized, but they're different.
Why did they pick 85?
Well, 85 was just a flex fuel, meaning it can contain up to 85%. It's like when you buy certain foods and it says this could be up to, 30% good for you when it's really not. It could be 0, but it could be up to. They don't say it's up to. So you need to know, first off, you need to know exactly what the content is before you did anything like that. I mean, I don't know how you do it. I mean, you would actually sense it, and it varies.
Right.
That pump this morning might be 60%. If the truck comes and fills it up, now it may be 55% or maybe 70%. You don't know. You do not know what's in that pump unless you measured the fuel you're putting in it and took a sample and tested it. And there is a way to test it with water to pull it apart. And, it varies and find out what's going on in there. But
if you do that at the pump, people will start.
They'll be like, what are you doing?
They'll call. Yeah. Someone will get called.
Mixing up the gas in the bottle and then you make a marks on it.
Yeah. You don't. You're gonna be. That's a tough.
So Chris, what I do? I got like a water bottle like this.
Yeah.
And I say, I got this much water in here, and you make graduation marks on it. You have. Let's say you have 10 marks on there, and you put 9 of water, and then you fill the rest, the last mark with gasoline, whatever you got out of the pump. If you let it sit, and now you've got 10 or 9 of water and 1 of gas, and now after it sits for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you've got 2 marks on the bottom, so it's 20. Then you know that you had 10%. You're pulling in, because the water will attract that and separate it out. That's why people say, it's taking out. It's not just sucking water out of the air. No, it's when there's liquid in there, it does that. Well, you have to do the same thing with your E85. It would be a process. So I would say you're not figuring out. If you got a flex fuel vehicle and you want to mix a little, just put, if you've got a tank, let's say you got a 10-gallon tank and you put 7 gallons of gas in it, and then you put 3 gallons of E85, you're going to not be 85. You're not even going to be 50. You're going to be under that. But on a flex fuel vehicle, that'd be fine. You can kind of experiment. You're going to know kind of what that station you're going to is at, and you can blend. I mean, even if you're putting some in it, even if you're putting $50 of gasoline in and you're putting $25 of E85 in when you have a flex fuel car, you're going to save some money that way. And you'll probably increase your octane to get better mileage and save some fuel. But you got to have a flex fuel car for doing that because you don't know what you're going to get.
866-594-4150. Let's talk to Dave. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Dave, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I got a 65 Corvair Monza convertible that I just got running this last year after sitting about 15 years. Got all the oil leaks fixed and then new fuel tank and fuel pump and stuff like that. So it's running good. I was just wondering if there's any kind of fuel additives or oil additives you should put in something like that, being it's that old.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So with this Corvair, you're going to need, have you rebuilt it with updated parts inside?
No, it's the same. Yeah, no, it's the same.
Okay, then you need to use a lead additive in there, a lead substitute, they call it. You can go to Advanced Auto Parts, go to their section that has, all the chemicals they pour in there, and look for the one that says lead substitute. They've got one. I got one from a Model T. I pulled out, saw it last night. It's Motor Medics. Yeah, we had a discussion with them, but didn't work. Anyways, it's just a lead substitute. No brand's better than another. None of our partners carry it, so just get the lead substitute, mix it in at the right ratio. That will help protect the valves from wearing because they're not lubricated. Yeah, they're not lubricated. It goes in the gas.
Oh,
this goes in the gas.
Okay.
Because it's run through the fuel because the regular fuel is going to be too dry and it's not going to lubricate and you're going to kill those valve seats. And if it's running great now, let's keep it running good. As for the oil, with the camshaft and everything is in it, you have to put a ZDDP additive in there, like a zinc substitute additive. You can use the Justice Brothers heavy duty vehicle, our partner that carries the oil additives. That would do it because the metal conditioner will protect those high pressure areas, the camshaft and things in the bearings. But those two additives, it's a must. If you want the engine to last, you're going to have to do that. Otherwise, it's going to beat itself up.
Did that help you out there, Dave?
Yeah, I've had the car since 1980, so I've had it a while.
All right, hold on a second before we have a question for you. Don't go anywhere. 1965 Corvair.
It's pretty cool. My grandson's got one too.
So we're gonna try and guess the color, Dave. I'm gonna go with the blue, but it's not. It's the
light blue.
Yeah, the silvery blue. Or it seemed like those are all like that color, right? The Corvairs were. I mean, were there bright reds and bright blues? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Not in my world. There wasn't. So I'm going with the blue.
I think they got a green. They had like a beige. They had black.
What does Dave have?
I think it's white.
White.
I think it's the old white.
Okay, Dave. What color is the Corvair?
It's red.
It is red.
There we go. You outsmarted us.
Convertible with the white top.
Oh, that's nice. Hold on a second, Dave. We're going to put you on hold here for a second and get producer Doug to get you a hoodie.
He's distracted right now by a caller, but he's getting there.
Uh-huh. The Monza is a perfect example of a car that when I was a kid, when I was in high school, I had a friend who had like later than 65, and it wasn't cool.
Was it unsafe at any speed?
It just wasn't. It was just not cool. It was okay.
Was it a 2-door or 4-door?
I don't even remember.
The 4-doors were not nearly as cool, but some of them, like the Monza Spider convertibles especially, those were a really good looking car.
But now in my mind, remembering that car, I think I remember it the way it looked. Now it's plenty cool. Now I think it's really cool.
On the hoodie. Get you got it done.
866-594-4150. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
If car repair was cheap, you wouldn't need us. We're Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the End of the Hood Show. Let's talk to Bruce. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Bruce, what can we do for you?
Hey guys, great show.
Thanks.
Love listening to you.
Thank you.
Got a 2019 Ford Escape 2.5 liter non-eco boost, about 90,000 miles, and it randomly wants to die. It's my daughter's car. She's got it in college, so I'm not around it a lot. But first time happened a couple weeks ago. She was sitting at idle in park, and it just died. Wouldn't even start or turn over or anything after that.
Oh.
About a half hour later, she got to go. Ran it for a few days, ran fine, and then happened again, just died. So took it into a shop. They replaced the alternator. They said that was weak, and she got 5 miles down the road. While she was driving, it stopped again and couldn't get it started, so I had to tow it. And they've had it for about a week and can't seem to find anything wrong with it.
Because it's running now?
I ran across that. It will start, yes.
Right. Okay. That's why they can't find anything wrong with it. We want it in when it's not running.
Pop up.
Here.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's the thing. It just died and it wouldn't restart. But of course, you jump starting it didn't help, did it? It just still wouldn't start.
Right.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be looking at the alternator or the battery. I mean, the battery could be so bad that you couldn't put any charge into it. That happens. But it wouldn't then start magically working again after you charged it up and got it jumping for, I think you are losing. If you take the alternator off while it's running, disconnect it while it's running, you'd still have power from the battery to power it. If you lose battery positive power, it would still run because the alternator's keeping it going. I think you may be losing the ground from the battery to that engine, and it's causing it to die and then not able to start. Has it ever had, and here's why. I mean, have you ever had any work done to the vehicle, like in the last year or two, like a transmission or anything?
I just bought it. No, I bought it last fall.
Okay. Well, being an Escape, it's very likely it had a transmission put in it. There's a stud on the transmission bell housing. The stud goes in, gets tightened down properly, then the battery cable slips over the end of the stud, and the nut is put on. If the nut on that stud is very tight, so it appears to be secure, the cable, but the stud is not securely tightened in the transmission, it's barely loose, it can get enough corrosion and just grease and oil and dirt in there to intermittently not make a good connection. It'll cause the vehicle to die, and it'll cause it to not restart. And then if you jump it or it just sits and temperature changes, it'll arc, and all of a sudden, it's working, and it works perfectly. No codes, nothing. So I would say when it dies and it doesn't start, grab that negative black battery cable that you've got on your battery and follow it all the way down to the transmission and pull on it, wiggle it around, yank on it. You're not going to yank it off. You'd have to be the Hulk to grab that thing off of there. Move it. And if all of a sudden all your power comes back on and it starts right up and runs, that's what's going on. You might even be able to try to wiggle it around a little bit again and get it to die.
So can it just run some zip ties from the black cable all the way up, so you can just tug on it when it.
The other thing you could do is when it's not starting and everything's dead in there, connect a pair of jumper cables, hook one on the negative of the battery and one on the block. And if everything comes back up again, that's what's going on. And it can, since you've got a smaller cable going to the body of the vehicle, that can power up things inside, but not allow it to crank. The engine's being isolated by the rubber motor mounts. So if you're like, well, I've got lights on my dash, it just doesn't crank. Well, that's why. They've all got to be together and talking.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my best
the
guess.
First time it happened, the windows were down and she couldn't even get the windows to roll up. I told her to turn the key on at least. And
Yeah, then you've got a major loss.
Bruce, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. I think that maybe a piece of string, something just so you can give it a little. Don't do that. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Jim. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Jim, what can we do for you?
Hey, yeah, I'm wondering if there's some sort of additive that you could put in with the fuel to prevent your steel tanks from rusting on classic cars.
Oh.
Yes, there is. And that product is made by Stable. Currently, our partners don't have one for that specific application.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about now, a full tank with additive, any of our partners will work fine. But with Stable, they've got one that they're not our partner, but they've got one called Vapor Action. And when the tank is even as low as a quarter or an eighth of a tank, by having that Stable in there, the fumes in there,
in theory,
touch the tank,
keep it moist,
and help. They help prevent the rusting, and they do a pretty good job of very much slowing it down. I've seen a lot of the testing they've done on it, and it was a drastic change. I used it in my Model T, which usually doesn't have more than a half a tank of fuel in it, but I've had rusting problems before.
Why don't you leave it full?
Well, because if it's full, it vents right out the cap, and when it's completely full where it wouldn't rust, it will expand in the summer.
Oh,
so if I fill it when it's 100 degrees out to the top, the fuel will expand because it was in the tank in the ground, and it's about 60 to 70 degrees, and it will overflow and run on the floor.
Gotcha.
If I wait, then it'll cool down and it'll shrink. So I'm always going to have the gap. So I put that additive in there, and it's prevented rust so far. I've been pretty happy with it.
Does that help you out there, Jim?
It did. I do have another question. To prevent rust from moisture from the cement, do you guys put down anything on the cement?
Plastic.
That you park on?
Plastic. You need a vapor barrier under the car. I mean, in the building, it's not you can't do anything about that in the humidity. But if you're gonna put a car in a shop, I park mine on I have one that's got a vapor barrier under the concrete, but without where it's at with no vapor barrier on the dirt. Yeah, if you got a plastic sheeting, it'll keep the vapor from coming out of the concrete directly into the vehicle. If you could see it on a camera, you'd see the waves of moisture coming up. But if you've got plastic there, it's going to go around it. It's going to be coming out on the edges and going up, but it's not going to be coming straight into the vehicle. And I think that would, for me, I feel better doing that. There's no guarantee, but that's my way of doing that.
Can you do like the tile floors work, the plastic tiles? I suppose not, because they breathe or have holes in them to drain. So just a sheet of plastic.
The
tarp?
cheapest, thinnest plastic vapor barrier you can go at a big box store to just roll it out, park the car on it, roll it back up when you're done. And I think that would be a lot better than nothing at all.
Shopping bags, just throw all your shopping bags under it?
Well, they'd have to be taped together, right? You need something to solid.
Now you're talking. I could tape those. I would love that project. Jim, good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Ray. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Ray, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I've got a 2017 Subaru Outback. Got 235,000 miles on it. All that we've ever run in it is the 87 octane, regular gas. Do you think it would hurt or be okay to start running the E15 in it?
No, E15 or E10 should be fine, or the 87. If you've ever put 88 in the car, that's E15. So, if you've been doing that before at times, you then feel good because you've already done it. But that car it's new enough. Yeah, it should run just fine on any of those you put in it, 10, 15, or nothing. right now at this point, I'd say put the cheapest, because that car will run on 87. I'd put the cheapest dollar-wise fuel you can in that car.
What year are we talking about with E15 specifically?
2001.
It's the
and
same,
it'll
right?
even go back even older, yeah. But it's 01 is where they tested it, so you're fine. And there's not many 01 cars. I mean, there's some, but
that's
not
pretty
many.
old now.
Most of the cars we're seeing when we're calling them old, there's in our shop, we right now, out of all the cars I have about 60 cars there, and I'd say cars that are older than 2008, maybe 2, 3, and then another 40% of those are 2012 or newer.
And we talk about the cars being able to do it from 2001. A lot of them, like Fords, right? Those were all 96. Was it 96 where that was available? Where it was...
Well, the fuel systems, they went in like 88. Most cars went to a newer thing. But they tested to 2001. That's why they want to say 01 and up.
That's going to do it for the Under the Hood Show. Thanks for listening. Let's talk to Doug in Minnesota. Doug, you're on the Under the Hood Show. What can we do for you?
Yeah, I've got a 2013 Mercedes E350. Been a great car for us. Obviously a summer car. And I loaned it to a nephew for a prom. Thought he was helping us out, put E87 in it. And I've not had anything but issues since. Misfire codes, changed out the spark plugs and some other items, taken it to Mercedes. Had them even work on it. Got it back. Got it out this year. Drove it maybe 500 miles, and I've got misfire codes for cylinders 1, 2, and 3 again. And just dropped it off at Mercedes again. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong or what we have caused by putting that 87 in the car. Can't figure it out.
And you had always run the 91 Premium before?
I had run E85 in it before most of the time. Seemed to have run just fine with the E85 for years. After this happened, I put 91 in it and thought I would just stick with 91 going forward just to make it easy for everybody, because 85 is not always the easiest to find.
So it may be caused by something with the fuel trims on the vehicle, and they're going to have to look at that. That car with a flex fuel car running E85, when you switch to a different fuel, it's got to adjust. Have you tried to run it back with that original fuel? Run the tank completely, out and make sure you've got only that E85 in there, and does it run better like that, or have you not tried that yet?
So what we did is we tried to drain the 91 out, put 85 in it, and nothing changed as far as the misfire or anything. I've still got the code.
That's what I was wondering.
Pretty bad. Now it runs better under acceleration. I think it's running very rich, but that's about as much as my knowledge goes with these cars.
Well, it will. So if you're running E85 in there with the higher alcohol content, it's got to put more fuel in it to run evenly like it should, to get the right ratio of fuel and air. If it does not change, if the computer does not adjust for that, when you switch to non-alcohol fuel, it gets richer. For every percentage point you change towards regular away from alcohol, it gets richer. So it's going to load up. It's going to be very rich and be very poor fuel economy. It's possible that computer is not switched. It's stuck somewhere in between alcohol and non-alcohol, and there is a relearn for that in the computer. They may have to reprogram it and relearn it, but I would say with these cars, they had some problems switching back and forth. I would pick the fuel you're going to run in it and then have them do their thing.
Reprogram it.
And I'd say that should probably be the 91 premium, because that car, I believe, is supposed to run on premium only, is what they recommend on that, right on the fuel cap. So put the 91.
Right on the fuel cap, though, it shows that it's the E85 is acceptable for that car as well.
It'll
That's
say,
why we
yeah. Doesn't it say 91 premium or E85? Yeah, Shannon's got a vehicle that has that too. So, yeah, just run one and stick with it. So if you're going to run like the premium, put that in there. And I think when they program it, it has to be programmed on the 91. It can't have E85 in there at all. Okay. No alcohol. I think it's got to be a non-alcohol premium to do the testing. So you would have to run the tank down to under a quarter, fill it up, run it down again, and then fill it up so it's got the right, make sure you're 100% of what octane, because they're going to go in there and going to set it. And they're going to say, okay, we're setting it for, non-alcohol fuel. That's the current content, and go from there. But I think it's just confused, and that should, hopefully that'll bring it out of it. Hopefully there's no other kind of failure that may have just occurred.
Doug, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. I feel bad for the nephew too, because Doug could get hit by a meteor right now, and he'd blame it on him.
Yeah.
So once it's fixed, you just gotta let it go, and then do it again for the next one, and have it work out, and everyone will be happy and knowing. Oh, what a bummer. 866-594-4150. That's gonna do it for us, I think. No, this is the after show, but we gotta move, so that's the total of the after show.
Sounds good.
Thanks for listening to the End of the Hood Show.